In 2017, I made a video on why Vail, Colorado is the worst mountain town in Colorado, and despite all the naysayers in the comments, I was just proven right. I also said that it'd be way better to stay or live in a neighboring town such as those in Summit County, and a bunch of people in the comments said, well, Summit County sucks, Breckenridge sucks, Dillon sucks. Well, some metrics just came out that show that Summit is more sought after than Vail now. The biggest thing that I addressed is that Vail, Colorado is the noisiest, most annoying mountain town there is. Every multi-million dollar mansion in that town has a guaranteed view of I-70, the interstate, zooming through that place at 75 miles an hour. And it is loud and annoying, and it screams all day and all night. Now, most of you said, oh, it's not that bad, you can't hear it here. Even though in that video I went with my microphone and video to a bunch of different spots all over the town and everywhere you could hear it. Well, now it just came out again in the Vail Daily that Vail wants to pay millions of dollars, if not $1 billion, to put that interstate underground. Again, they've gone over this plan many, many times. So if the noise isn't a problem, why does the town want to spend almost $1 billion to put that thing underground? Another issue I brought up is that Vail doesn't really have a community, and that stands till this day, even worse since the pandemic. People that live there don't actually live there. They're part-time. Maybe there's a few retirees that live there full-time, but no one actually lives in Vail. It's like Disneyland. You just go there to ski, and granted the skiing is great, and they have some pretty awesome parties and concerts every once in a while. Besides that, there's no community there. The only community I had when I lived in Vail was that of people who lived in Avon. Another thing I brought up is that it is a depressing valley town. Vail is in this narrow canyon, and in the winter, there's parts of that town that don't ever see the sunlight. They're just in shade continuously. Not my favorite place to live. I'd rather live in the wide open, maybe on Lake Dillon in Summit County. On top of that, the views are a lot better in these areas than they are in Vail. See here, you just see the canyon. Sometimes you can catch a view of the Gore Range. But in Summit County, you always have a view of the 10 Mile or the Gore Range. But I see people's perception of Vail changing, as it's not as sought after as it was in the past. Its neighbor, Summit County, the most people around Vail would make fun of or call Scummit, is now more sought after. Summit is the home to Breckenridge, Dillon, Frisco, and a few other towns. But the average house price in Summit County in 2024 surpassed Vail. That's right, the prestigious ski resort is now less expensive to live in than it is in the neighboring Summit County. And that's including all of Summit County. Wouldn't you rather live here on Lake Dillon than you would next to a screaming interstate? And if you still think I'm wrong, well then I'm sorry. Anyway, that's all I have. Subscribe for more Colorado BS.